Hey everybody, I'm Stacey, a licensed designer for Sizzix, and I am here at Scrapbook.com to have a play day with you today. I'm going to be working with the Cherry Blossom Stencil and Stamp platform today, and I get to show you stamping and stenciling, but I also get to show you some beautiful techniques that you might not know about. Are you ready to get started? I am too. Let's do it, shall we? So I'm going to start with my first stamp, which is one of my Sizzix stamps. It is my Cosmopolitan Uptown stamp, and I love it. I love it because of the size. It is big, and being that it is a little bit larger, it's actually an A5 size stamp. It works perfect in the Stencil and Stamp tool because you have that larger platform. Look at how big it is. You've got options. You've got a placement to put that larger stamp. So how does this fabulous tool work? Well, let me tell you. So when I open it up, first thing's easy peasy. The lid comes right on and off. And if I'm using it as a stencil tool, I don't need the lid at all. But we're going to start with stamping today. Here, I've got a piece of sticky grid. And this is like the best thing ever because it holds your paper in place. It's got a little bit of tack to it, kind of like a really nice Post-it note, but the size, it covers the entire platform so that you can have a stamp here or here or here. It's all up to you. Now you get the sticky grid with the tool and easy on, easy off. Peels up, peels down. I'm going to start with my stamp and I'm going to put down a piece of white paper. And you're going to see it doesn't move. And I'm going to use it as a stamp positioner right now. So my big A5 Stacey Park Sizzix stamp right on top. And I'm going to close it up. This is an important thing to remember. The lid has two sides, one grid, one smooth. When you're stamping with it, you always want that smooth side face down against the stamp. That's what's going to let you pick that stamp right on up and bam, perfect placement every time. So as long as I don't move my paper, my stamp's going to line up again and again. Let's ink. So I'm playing with my Jacquard inks, and I love my Jacquard inks. They are a premium dye-based ink that are super saturated, which means anything that's saturated can be desaturated. So you can use it in its full color, or you can gradate it out into the softest colors ever. I'm probably not ever going to have maybe a dark pink and a light pink because one pink is going to get it all done for you. And these are my 6 new colors. So if I were to ink up, look at the color, bam, holy smokes artichokes. And I'm not going to do everything. I'm going to leave it a little bit haphazard because I love it. I'm going to layer color. Pick this up and it's just clicks right on in. Look at that. Down, and we give a press. And when I pick it up, bam. And see, I left it a little haphazard. There's empty spaces, and I'm going to come back in and I'm going to fill those in with other colors. Oh, yes, I am. How about a little of this is my Pineapple Crush, and I go right on top. Now, these inks are going to blend. They're water soluble. And so you can have it make those little droplets, you know, really cute. But because they're so saturated, the color is intense and the colors don't make mud. And look at that. Look at the blends. It is just beautiful. But maybe we add one more color, should we? So let's add a little bit of blue. And maybe I might come back with maybe just a hair bit more pink, just to see what happens. Boom, fabulous, done. Now, what are you going to do with this? I don't know. We could die cut. We could make beautiful flowers out of it. We could take it, cut it in half, and make 2 cards out of it. What is it that makes your heart happy with this? Because you're going to be able to do everything. You've got the size. Isn't that great? What stamp am I using? I am using my Sizzix Cosmopolitan Uptown stamp. And it does more than what I'm doing here. Are you ready to play with some glitter and get sparkly and dazzly? I think so too. I'm going to keep with the same stamp. I'm just going to leave it right here. The difference is instead of inking it, I'm going to be using the Essentials glue pad. This glue pad is absolute magic. What it does is it allows you to ink up your stamp with glue and then add your glitter to it, but not just any glitter, microfine glitter. Let me show you how beautiful it looks. So the pad is sold just like this. You get the two. And this is not a re-inker. This is the actual glue. So when you get this pad, it's going to be completely dry. There's going to be nothing on it. You're going to open it up and you're going to see it has a little protective case right here. You don't want to lose that. Keep that handy. And the pad is completely dry. You're only going to add as much glue as you need for the make you are making. So if I take a little bit of glue, and you'll see I do kind of a little Z pattern, use my finger just to kind of blend it in, and now it's ready to go onto my stamp. So almost like I'm stamping with glue. Ink it up just like it was a regular color of ink, nice and all over. And then I can bring over a piece of paper. Now I'm just going to take my stamp off just to make sure I align it properly. My lid right back on in. I'm just going to flip it over and just put it right back on top of my piece of paper. Bam. Close it up. Pick up my stamp. Now not only am I picking up my stamp, I'm gluing at the same time. So I'm giving it a good press, which means I can then lift it up and I can take a look. Did I get a nice impression? And you're looking for a watermark image. It's very light, but it's because it's transparent glue. Now the big thing about this glue pad is that you gotta let it go tacky. So I'm gonna set it aside for just a few minutes. You can leave this for up to 30, 40 minutes and come back. So this one has been sitting, going tacky for over 40 minutes. It's the exact same pattern, and this is where that glitter comes in handy. Now the glitter I'm going to be using is by Couture Creations, and it is a microfine glitter, which means it's been ground almost into a dust. So a little goes a long way. And if I take it and I just drizzle some, just a little here, a little bit there, it's almost like powder. And I want to blend up my colors. I want to see beautiful, beautiful golds and pinks, and I'll add some blue. And I just come in here. It's a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but that magic happens when you take it and you... Oh, can you see the design coming up? Is that amazing? Then your finger, and you just start to move the glitter over the entire image. And where you need more glitter, you add more glitter. I can feel that there's still tackiness on the sides. I can come in and I can drizzle a little bit more down, just so that I don't feel that tackiness anymore. And because we let the glue go tacky, once the glitter's down, it's down. There's no flaking off. There's no opening up the card and glitter falls everywhere. No, it's being held down by glue. I give it a nice little burnish, and then I've got magic. And you can do it with any stamp. But now you have more than one way to use this stamp. Do we want to ink? Do we want to glitter? You get to do both. Now we're going to move into stenciling, because I did say it is a stamp and stencil tool. Since I'm going to be stenciling, I no longer need my lid. I can put my lid right off to the side. I do need what I call the alignment tool. It has two little holes on the top. It has two little nibs on the bottom, and it fits. These little holes here correspond to the holes in my lid. It lets you move stencils anywhere you want on this platform. If you're doing a 12 by 12 layout and you need your stencil towards the bottom of your page, easy peasy, you put your stencil all the way down. Now these two little holes right here at the top, these are what fit into the little nibs here. The two little holes down here, well, let me show you what they do. So I'm going to bring over one of my stencils from Sizzix. This is actually a stencil and stamp combo. They're sold separately. It is one stencil. It does have 3 different cityscapes. It's got rooftops, it's got your tree line, and it's got a cityscape going on. I'm going to put my stencil with the holes All Sizzix stencils have 2 holes right at the top. I pop them right into the 2 holes that correspond on my alignment tool. Now, what makes this tool so special is that there's no tape or magnets needed. I can stencil, and then I can pick it up and look and see what I've done, and the stencil lines up perfectly each and every time. No trying to kind of maneuver it around to get it exactly where you needed, no trying to find those tape lines. So let's play a little bit. I think I'm going to do the tree lines. And to be able to do that, I'm going to mask off the top of my cityscape and the bottom of my little houses. And I'm just going to take some of my Scrapbook.com mint tape. It's not going to peel your paper up when you take it up. It's going to hold everything in place, and it just makes a perfect little mask. So once I've done that, I can start to play. I love yellow. I always start with a color and kind of do the entire image. And that way I have something to blend into. I'm going to work down because I've got little areas that are going to lift up. So I'm going to work down on this stencil. All right, so now if I want to see what I've done, I lift it up. I can see where I'm at. If I want to do more, all I do is realign down. As long as you don't move your paper, no problem, it's going to line up every time for you. Let's try a different color. Let's put in some greens. And I can start light on one side and darker on the other because the inks are highly saturated. So I can control the depth that I want for my images. Darker to lighter, I have that option. But you can see how the yellow is just blending into it, just giving it a little bit of depth perception. And I'm just going to go in and add a little bit of light green all the way through, because then I can really come back and decide what I want that color. How dark of a green do I want that color to be? Lift it up if you want to see what you've done. See, that looks good just like that. I can stop right there. But I'm a girl who always likes a little bit more. And maybe I add just a hair bit of blue. And I'm going to tap my blue off just a little bit right onto my mint tape, because I don't want it to be too dark of a blue. And by tapping it off, I'm desaturating my color. Can you see the depth being added right there? It's beautiful. Just by adding a little bit of blue. So easy peasy. Your stenciling is now in, I don't know, half the time it used to be. And using the same technique that I used in the trees, I've started my cityscape here. Isn't it beautiful in the blues? But of course we're gonna add more color to it. I've got my eggplant parm right here. That's the name of the purple, eggplant parm. And I can do the same thing that I did in my trees by layering those colors in and adding. So I'm gonna take my stamps out, and you get all 3 stamps that are going to coordinate with the stencil. And I think I'm going to pull my forest scene out. Now for me, when I am stenciling, I love my stencil and stamp tool in this orientation. It's just easier for me. But when I'm stamping, hello, rotate it and bam, now I have the perfect orientation for stamping. It's amazing for me how just a little bit of a turn can make such a difference. I'm gonna grab my treetops because they make my heart happy. And we're going to go ahead and line them up right on my stencil. They're going to add a little fine line around all the treetops, almost like you took a fine line pen and went in and hand drew it. We're going to bring over our lid. And again, remember, one side smooth, one side gridded. It's always that gridded side that is facing the top. You want that smooth side against the stamp. Press it down, pick it up, and I'm going to grab some of my carbon copy, which is my black ink. And again, Jacquard, it is a dye-based ink. It's water soluble, it's blendable, and it just adds the perfect finishing touch. Lay it over, give a press, and it looks like you took a fine line pen and you went in there and did all the detail work. And if I wanted that line to be a little darker, I go back in, I re-ink up my stamp, put it right back in, and close it up. I haven't touched my paper at all. I've stenciled and I've stamped, but my paper has stayed in the space where I started. And because I haven't moved my paper anywhere, if I wanted to come back with my stencil, I could put my stencil right back on top and maybe take a little bit of Sizzix crystal glaze or crystal paste and put my stencil back on top and add a little bit of shimmer and shine because I haven't moved my paper. It is an amazing alignment tool. So I hope I've shown you a few things today, a few little tips, a few little tricks, maybe some technique you hadn't seen before, all using the Cherry Blossom Stencil and Stamp tool here at Scrapbook.com. You're going to want this tool. I'm sure of that. I'm Stacey. I am a designer for Sizzix, and thanks for having me today. It's been fun playing with you. Hope to see you soon. Bye, everybody.